Live and see.
Yeah, so what's going on, man? Sunday.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Sunday. Sunday.
Wait, hold on, let me see something. So today is Sunday, August 13th. What's the topics we got? We got Pascal. What's the topics we got? I'm getting some feedback. I might be missing something. You might have to close out a YouTube screen.
Mhm. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
no, that's good. That's good. That's clear now.
It's okay now.
Yeah, that's okay now. Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
so first on the list, what do we got first on the list? Well, today we should be having a guest, Raptorsfreak, very knowledgeable in basketball, big time when it comes to the Raptors. So
Yep.
we'll
Yep.
see if he comes through today. But
Yeah,
we'll go and we'll get his opinion on most of the topics that we got going on. But
exactly. Exactly.
yeah. So to start off, the first thing, let's just make this quick with the Atlanta Hawks and the Raptors. Do they want Pascal bad enough to give up Kobe Buffkin? Kobe Buffkin, in my opinion, is the only player they have other than Murray or Young, uh, where we could actually have some serious talks.
Mm-hmm,
Uh,
mm-hmm.
if they're willing to do that, it'd be interesting. But to tell you the truth, I'm leaning more to keeping Siakam at this point. Like I have no problem doing that,
Yeah.
and just seeing how it works. So
So you rather keep Siakam.
yeah, that's how I'm feeling at this point. Because it's not easy to get players at that caliber right now in the league, especially solid players. So I'm leaning with keeping Siakam. He's the best player on the team at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah.
Everything else in the project, you could say, okay, Barnes, but still not sure. You don't really know.
It's true. It's
Ananobi's
true.
a role player, um, and that's it. That's pretty much it. That's all we got. So why not have a solid player on the team that gives you a chance, at least makes you competitive. We're just
Yeah.
one piece away from being, if we can get a piece, like if we got like a Kawhi Leonard, like if we got a number one superstar, we could do what we did before because we have the role players, we have everything else lined up,
Yeah. But how do you
except for
even get?
maybe a solid point guard or two, because we had two point guards, but we had Van Fleet and Larry, but I could see it working if we could we're one piece away from being competitive, in my opinion.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It seemed like it
Yeah.
was one piece away, but we get that one piece.
Well, they're all around. They're all around. It's just if you can make the trade and who's willing to come here, who wants to come here. You see what I'm saying? So I'll
Mm-hmm.
say something crazy, and I'll say something, and I know it's gonna sound crazy, right? And it's most likely not gonna happen. It's not something I think will happen. But when you think about Giannis, there's actually a relationship there. That people were talking about that at one point, and even though I think it's not so far fetched because the organization he's playing for right now isn't. I wouldn't say is a top of the line organization. I can see him getting at some point getting weary of, because I think they're trending downwards. In my opinion, I don't think they're getting better.
Mm-hmm.
So at some point, if Giannis wanted to leave the Bucks, the Raptors would be the top three teams, if not the top team, based on his relationship with Masai, the culture we have here. So when you say what piece, I'll say the highest piece on the chessboard, but which, like I said, I'm not saying that that's, but hey, you never know. You just never know, right?
Are you
But
talking
that's
Giannis?
yeah, Giannis, or international players. You see what I'm saying? Like that's our best bet, which is good because international players are pretty much where the league is going right now. It's going in that style and that direction. So it doesn't have to be a Giannis, but you have a lot of international players. I think Toronto is a perfect fit for most international players because they don't favor America over Toronto, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So it doesn't have to be honest. It could be a number of international players or players that maybe whose parents were international, you know? So,
Hmm.
yeah, but we could move on from that. I mean, if they're willing, like I said, for if uh, I'm really pretty much done with the trade rumors and all this stuff. I feel like if the Hawks make a trade, Kobe Buffkin would be in that trade. Probably him and AJ Griffin. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but what do we got next? You want to move on to the next topic here? What do we got?
We can move on. Yeah, we can move on to the next topic. What's the next topic?
Germany versus Canada. So they played each other twice. They played each other twice. But on the schedule, I didn't have them playing each other twice in these exhibition games. I
Hmm.
only seen the first game because I didn't know they were gonna play Germany again, so I had no clue of the
Yeah, I was
second game.
surprised too.
But so you watched the second game. The
Hmm.
first game they pretty much got blown out. They did close up the gap a little bit, I think in the third, and then they Germany ran away with it. So in the second game, what was it like? Was Canada? You said Canada was leading in the beginning.
No, no, no. Canada was actually losing for the entire game, except
Okay,
for the
okay.
last 2 minutes.
And then what happened? Like,
Sure to got fouled out.
and how much? Who won? Who won the game though? Because I don't even.
I never see the exact score, but I know they lost by like maybe like two. I mean they won by two.
Canada.
Yeah, yeah. Canada won by two.
Okay, so all
Yeah,
right, that's good. I want to see the game though too for myself. But what do we think? I mean, when it comes to the overall, I guess it's hard to judge because the way they looked in the first game was a little bit scary. And Germany is one of the top teams. Like I guess they're one of the. They'd probably be like the top five teams. So
yeah, yeah.
that is some stiff competition. But I'm glad they came back and got a win. I don't know if it means anything. These are exhibition games, but
Exactly.
I feel like. Do you feel like Canada has enough? Like, do you feel confident in what you're seeing? Because I didn't feel so confident in the first game that I seen with them against Germany.
No, I don't. I don't. I don't. I don't even think they actually would have won the game if Schroeder never got injured. Never got followed.
Yeah, I
The
agree as well.
yeah, they were down by like 12 points or so, with like maybe 3 minutes, 4 minutes left.
Yeah, Schroeder is definitely something different when it comes to uh, playing with his international team. Uh, He looks like like a superstar in the NBA. Like, you know what I mean? He's like one of
Yeah,
the top players when it comes down to this competition. And
yeah, definitely.
yeah, so but their schemes, it's the schemes that they have, and it's very simple. It's not complicated. It's real. A lot of it is simple basketball. It's not complex. You make the right passes. Schroeder is really good with the basketball. He's actually better than I think people give him credit for when it comes
Hmm.
to ball handling. And his I'm not gonna say his decision making is the best, but he's like your average point guard, and he's a really good ball handler though. Like I feel comfortable with the ball in his hands,
Yeah,
and
sure.
that's just good that we have him. Let's not forget he's playing for our team, right?
Yeah,
And he's
that's
an
correct.
international player, right? So he ticks off both the boxes that we mentioned when we talk about Toronto being good for international players. Our coach is a international European coach, so uh, that's good. I feel good about that. I feel watching Schroeder play, for Germany, and knowing that he's playing for us. Really,
Hmm.
it's really up to what we do, how we use, if we can use him the right way, because you see what you could do in the right
Yeah, yeah,
situation. So if we can do the same thing, you, you know what I mean? And it looks even better him with Barnes, but I see them playing together on the court at the same time. Schroeder and
definitely. Yeah,
Barnes. Yeah, I think that's the ski. I think it's starting to make sense to me
yeah, with
what they're
Purdue and
trying to
stuff.
do. Yeah, yeah. So
Purdue,
I say
Barnes.
Schroeder. You got maybe Schroeder starting. What, maybe Trent, Ananobi. Wait,
Hmm.
no, Schroeder. Man, that's the thing though. Trent, or who starts at shooting guard? That's the question. If you start
Um,
Schroeder, or do you start
that's tricky
Barnes at
one.
point guard and you put Schroeder at the two? And I know it's a little bit weird, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We'll see. That's gonna be interesting.
Definitely, definitely, yeah, for sure. Well,
Yeah,
be good. Be good to see.
yeah, definitely. So
Definitely, yeah.
moving on to the next. What are we gonna? What about the Harden? Was there quickly we were talking about Harden? I guess he's staying, and I'm not gonna. You know what? I could say I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna say nothing about Harden because I don't even know if he wanted to go in the first place. All I care about is him staying in Philly. Uh, that I think that's going to be good for his career, regardless whether they make the chip or not, whether he gets a chip or not. But I think they make the finals at the very least, and they
Well,
could
they
do it
said he
this
wants
year.
to
I
go to
think Philly
Clippers
could make the finals this year, huh?
to go to the finals. No,
Philly,
no, no, definitely not. They're not going to finals this year. No.
Philly's. It's okay. It after Boston, right? Who is it? You tell me who in the East? Who's it in the East after Boston?
I got Milwaukee, but you don't really.
Nope. Milwaukee didn't get better. And if you think they did, maybe they did, but I am not in the know. From what I can see, it doesn't seem like Milwaukee's gotten better.
Yeah, yeah, but Milwaukee was already good.
Milwaukee's good, but uh, you have to, in my opinion, you gotta get better.
Of course,
Philly has pieces. They got. Remember, they have Tyrese Maxey. So with Maxey, Harden, and Embiid, really, it's what's his name? Tobias Harris. Really, he's really the problem. Really,
hmm
a guy like that for what he's getting paid, Tobias really should bring more to the table, in my opinion. especially in those big games. I don't think he's consistent enough. And at this point, I don't even think he's good trade bait, you know?
Yeah, true,
Uh,
true. Yeah.
so that's their weak spot, in my opinion. But I'm glad to hear that Harden's staying in Philly. And yeah, I think that's a good thing.
You sure it's 10? Did he actually say it's 10?
You know what? I'm running away with it because remember what we do. We make bold predictions. We make bold predictions. We're saying he's staying, all right? But I think the talks are dying down, and what's being put out there is that he's probably he's not really interested in leaving like he was before. And I
Well,
think that is the best thing for him. I
hmm
think I see it before most of these players see it. I seen it for him. I seen that just the fact of the rumors being put out there was just bad for him, and just overall, you don't
yeah,
want
yeah.
you don't want anybody saying that you want to be traded again. Please, just don't. Just have some decorum, have some class about how you go about things. You know
I know he's jumping from team to team to team, eh?
exactly. Have some class about it. Have some class. Buckle down. Keep. Stay 10 toes down and make it work with your team. And if a trade does come, just let it happen. Don't be the one asking for a trade at this point. If you're James Harden,
Yeah, true. Didn't he say he want to go back to Houston too? He didn't say he
the
want to go back to
people
Houston.
get wild. I don't trust this year. I don't trust anything that got put out there. So James Harden will get a pass with me because this year has just been too crazy with all the fake trade rumors. So I'll give James Harden a pass and say that he never really considered. I don't think he never said anything from his own mouth or from his social media.
You're
From
right.
what I
Yeah,
know, so
I never
I'll give
actually
him a
heard any,
pass on that.
and yeah, he actually never said anything for
Yeah, the
himself.
only thing the only thing he could be guilty of is not putting a stop to the rumors, which hey, it's up to him. He doesn't have to do that. He doesn't
Yeah,
have to stop the rumors. If he didn't start it, he doesn't have to stop it.
yeah, you're right.
So,
Yeah.
but that's good for him, man. That's good for him. I want James Harden to buckle down somewhere and make it work somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
I think that means a lot for his name and his brand. And hopefully he stays in Philly. And I think it's pretty much between them and Boston, and it's really who comes out between the two. I don't know who else you got up there
So,
with
so,
them.
so,
I
so
mean, you
you
said the Bucks, fine.
okay? What
If you
about the
want to put
East?
the Bucks in there, fine. It's the top three in the East.
Okay, what about the East? The East, the Miami East.
The Heat are in there, but I don't think they're well. Let's just go off the bat. Struce is gone, and Vincent gone. Those guys played a big role. Plus, we've spoke about the fact that look what they did without Tyler Hero. Do they really need Tyler Hero? So yeah, I
Hey,
I don't
hey,
think they're.
Raptors freak is here. You know.
Oh, he's here. Okay, that's good. All right,
Mm,
cool.
he's here. Yeah.
So you want
Okay,
to pull
so
him up?
yeah, let's see if we could get him in the thing. I'm gonna tell him to I'm I'm gonna send him a link to go in the thing.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
I'll
I'll
send him a link
continue.
to
So
join.
yeah, but I mean, all in all, that's what I want to see for James Harden,
Yeah, for
and
sure.
yeah.
Yeah, James Harden seems like he's crazy, man. Just want to go from team to team to team.
Well, I want to give him a chance. I want to give him a chance and say that maybe. this time he'll buckle down and make it work,
True, true.
regardless. You know, and I think they're the top team. I don't honestly. I don't even see. You were asking me about Miami. I don't even think Miami was. They weren't even. Where were they? They weren't even in a playoff spot, right? So I don't see them as a top four team because they weren't last year, and they're not better than they were last year so far, unless they make the trade for Lillard. That's why I think they have to have something brewing. That I think that trade goes down. I really do.
Yeah.
Because I think Miami wants to remain competitive, and I think they need to make a move like that to stay on to remain competitive.
Okay, okay. Alright, you want to hear what NBA freak is actually saying? Let's
Yeah.
start back over.
Hey, how's it going, man?
Hey, good to see you guys. Thanks for having me on NBA Quick Takes. What's up?
Hey, man, it's good to have you, man.
Right
Yeah,
on, dude.
man.
Right on, man.
Yeah.
So,
So,
what are
hey,
y'all
man.
talking about right now? You talking about Siakam getting traded? Yikes! Ah.
Yeah. Well, we could start there. We could start there. What about the big rumor has been with Atlanta?
Mhm.
How do you feel if a trade were to go down? What names would you want to see on the ticket?
Coming from Atlanta, I mean, there's only certain guys I actually like from them. Like a lot of people would make the argument it's got to be like DeJounte level at least, just because of Siakam's stature. I know they're not going to trade Trey Young, but you know DeJounte is really. I mean, it's insulting if it's anybody less than DeJounte to a degree because in some ways we got our franchise guy. They're not expected to trade the Trey Young. So what we should get at least Murray is what I'm saying. Not
Murray.
we want Murray though, but you know, I think that I like Hunter. Hunter's an okay player, but it just doesn't add up for Siakam. Hunter, Buffkin, you know, AJ, throw all those guys together in some sort of package. But I'm always against getting multiple players for one player because you're consolidating talent on one roster spot for like three guys that you know aren't as good as him. That's why I don't like it.
Well, when you okay, because you've heard Kobe Buffkin,
Mm-hmm.
he has a real high upside. And he's like a I guess you could say he's like a combo guard, 6'5". Uh, really good. I wouldn't say he's really a good shooter, but he's a really good playmaker. AJ Griffin, they say he has real high upside. I don't like Hunter, but I mean, I could understand you'd have to try and make the package work. So we'd probably end up getting Hunter in with the deal. But if Buffkin's name's on that ticket, I'm not too bad on that.
I much rather deal with Portland, honestly. I think it's a dead end working with Atlanta. And I think that like Masai and Bobby have already signaled that it's kind of like that with this. They come so hard on. Like, have y'all noticed how Atlanta fans will be all crazy that we want Siakam, we want Siakam, and then when it seems like he's not coming here, all of a sudden they start bad mouthing him, saying he's not that good. So it's really like this weird, like, what is going on with this Hawks Nation and Siakam right now? Like, y'all, you're crazy.
Well, let's be honest. A lot of them, they look at it like, of course, Toronto's in Canada, right? But Toronto's the biggest city in Canada, and Toronto's big business. They're not going to do anything that doesn't work for them. They think we're going to do something that works for them and doesn't work in our favor the same way.
Right.
That's not how it's going to work. It's a big city. We got big plans. We want to do big things, just like or even more than Atlanta.
Yep. We
So
invested in these
yeah,
guys like OG and Pascal. We got years invested in these guys. They didn't just become these players overnight. And that's the thing that these people don't realize. It's like, look, these dudes got good over like 5 years. And it's like, what are you going to send us? I mean, Buffkin is a nice player. You're right. But in some ways, like I said, Siakam is about that. He's going to continue to go up. Seriously. He's not like Fred. I think Fred hit his ceiling, and him leaving to go to Houston is actually a blessing. But Siakam, I'm telling you, he's about to add the last piece to his puzzle as a player, and it's going to be that clutch stuff. It's going to be that clutch stuff. Watch, seriously.
And, and you know what? Even though I said what I said, to tell you the truth, especially in this last week, I've been leaning more to keeping Siakam, to be honest.
We won't get enough value back. I'm just worried about them getting ripped off. We have trauma from Vince Carter trade. You know, we don't need another Rob Babcock kind of rip off for like the dude like Siakam, because he may be undervalued by the rest of the NBA, but we know what he really is up here in Toronto. You know that. And we know what this dude can do. Like, he's working hard. He got that bag. He didn't stop working. He's just working as hard as ever this summer. It's crazy.
Yes, no, I agree. And, I mean, let's just be real. It's no matter who we get for Siakam, if Siakam leaves, we're in total rebuild. That's it. Yeah. So, and I
like
don't want to do
Portland
that.
better because it's sharp. Like, if we can get sharp or like Simons, I like the players in Portland better than the ones in Atlanta. Like, I would do that deal. Or like, getting Lillard for Siakam would make sense to me to a degree. Seriously.
It would, but does Lillard, and we spoke about that too before, like, does Lillard want to play here? And that's almost coming close to a Kawhi situation, possibly.
Well, I mean, look at how well the Kawhi situation went through. And I think that Lillard's a more sensible guy than Leonard in some ways. He's intelligent. He would think about the situation. He'd come in. First of all, he'd probably be really impressed with the difference between the Trailblazers and the Raptors as far as how we run things. Gary Trent Jr. said that very much when he came and made that switch from that team. Plus, Gary's already here, and they had worked together from before. And I don't know, Lillard's smart. He just wants the chance to win. And if he has guys around him that he knows that'll play defense for him, and he can do the scoring and do the clutch stuff, he could see the formula adding up possibly in Toronto if the right stuff isn't going the other way. You know what I'm saying? But I think Lillard would fit here. Honestly, I would welcome a trade for Lillard. Just I would want to be very cautious about what we're sending there. That's all.
Well, I think you could sell a car, man, because you're almost selling me on it. I wasn't at first. I would have said, but I kind of like your take on that. I wouldn't be mad at that.
We didn't even know Kawhi was going to show up. I met Fred that summer, and like it was in August, right around this time, 5 years ago. I met Fred in Kensington Market, and I asked Fred to his face. I said, "Have you met Kawhi Leonard yet?" And he said, "No, I have not met Kawhi Leonard yet."
Wow,
ever. And you just think about the whole year that they had after that, and it was like, what? So that's what I'm saying. If we can make Kawhi work in a year, we can make Lillard work. And the thing about Lillard is I don't see him dropping in his skills right now. Like, I'd be worried if he's like showing age and his like a little bit of a drop off, like maybe come here and do a Olajuwon. But the dude's motivated to win a championship because the time is ticking.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I like that.
So there's another reason right there for him to be very motivated to make it work. I mean, Kawhi put that middle finger on his championship ring for a reason. I'd like to see what Lillard would do with it. He might put the same model on there for Portland. Yeah.
No, and you know what? I like your take on that, but at the same time, I gotta give some pushback. I gotta say, because what the percentage of that happening again? I mean, we could be the team that does that says, hey, we get players when they're in a disgruntled situation with their team, and then they end up in Toronto, but realistically,
lightning strikes. How does lightning strike twice? Is
what
you're asking.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Well, one of the differences would be look at Lillard's contract is more than 1 year. We'd get more than one shot is one of the things too. So that could be part of it also. It doesn't have to be a one and done. Like that was on the clock with the Kawhi.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah. No, that's true.
We'd have a little bit more time to trial and error a bit with Damian. I think he would be just refreshed. If we can keep either Siakam or Anunoby and have Lillard here, he would be very happy with the defensive support around him is what I would predict. And that would be something that may even rejuvenate him a little bit offensively in some weird ways too.
So is it fair to say okay, let's say Damian Lillard came here optimistic, maybe a little bit disgruntled, but optimistic. Is Pascal going to Portland disgruntled, a disgruntled Pascal? Is
I
that
mean,
how we do our boy there? Or
it's. I don't think it'll be like DeMar kind of like this is bad, stab you in the back kind of thing. Because I mean, there's some writing the wall, and DeMar really was blindsided.
yeah, I
And
agree.
Siakam's kind of been getting ready for this just in case. It seems like with his time in Austria recently. I
Okay.
don't know, man. I think that what he would do is like he'd honor it and stuff like that, but he would be hurt by it for sure because he
No,
is
okay.
very much
I
on
hear
the
you.
public record for wanting to be in Toronto, and we know
Yeah.
that. Yeah, so
And another interesting thing is that it's two players who swear they would not play for any team that signed them, pretty much.
yeah.
So it would be an interesting situation. It really would.
I think that they might do something really weird where, and I know this will really piss people off, but I could see them even making some sort of weird deal where it's not Siakam and they pair Lillard with Siakam here, and it's Anunoby who does go to Portland, and then it's like I think it would be Anunoby, Chris Boucher, and Thaddeus was the deal I saw for Lillard.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. That actually, I like that. I like that. And then
because
you still keep Barnes too.
yeah, Barnes stays. Everybody else stays. Precious, and you just got Lillard, and that Siakam combo is something that people kind of figured out that could be really fruitful partnership because of the way
Yeah.
it's interlock in some ways, and that's why Portland's in some ways just as hard up to get Siakam as Atlanta has been in the past. So because
Yeah. No, I agree.
that's what I'm saying. If you can get Siakam and Lillard on the same team, that's a big deal. That can be actually really good. And in some ways, that's why I'm thinking, oh man, they're going to try, they might take Anunoby instead.
Well,
Uh,
I think I heard Barnes' name on the ticket too. Do you think that was
well, Portland, of course, they're going to ask for them, just like Brooklyn asked for them last year with Durant and all that crap. Everybody's going to ask for Scotty and inquire. And I don't know. Like, it's a really weird kind of thing. I know that partly people want Scotty to go play with Scoot. I don't know, for cute name's sake. I don't know. But uh, I don't think it's likely that. I mean, it's very much signaled that Masai is making the signal that he loves Scotty and that he's keeping him here. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to trade him because of his value on his rookie contract. It's
yeah,
so,
no, I agree. I agree. But I think we both want Siakam to stay at the end of the day.
oh
I
yeah,
think that's fair to say. But like you said, if the trade goes down, like what you said for Damian Lillard and Siakam, I think that's least likely. But I wouldn't be mad at it. I am happy if the other trade you said about Ananobi and Young and Bashir, I think that would be the best scenario.
yeah.
But
You want to keep this, Siakam, Barnes, and Lillard. Look out! That's a nasty trio in some ways.
definitely. And Pirtle,
Yeah,
you still
Pirtle.
got Coloco, who
I
I
see
think he
you
has
guys
a
are talking about the game today with Canada and Germany. Also, can we talk
yeah,
about Dennis Schroeder and what he did today? Holy cow!
man. Yes, please. I want to hear how you because that's another Toronto player. So I want to know what you think about Dennis Schroeder and how are they using him. Like we've seen Dennis Schroeder be used in ways like where he was asking for what 80 million at one point. So
Yeah.
there is something there. What is it about Germany? Like what are they doing with him? Like what was it you're seeing?
Well, in particular, like I was really impressed today with his pace and just how he was directing Germany. He's like I was comparing him on my live stream earlier to like very consistent and deliberate, like a Jeffrey Doughton Jr. No wasted motion. Very just fundamentally like really good and all the kind of things he's doing out there. And just really court awareness and just ready to do the right thing in all kinds of situations. We saw him like playing with Dylan Brooks in that one play where he he distracted him and then he took off down the court and got like a Hail Mary pass right at the basket from his German teammate and made an easy layup. He's really a really smart player. And
Yeah.
as some people from my chat were saying earlier, he is a real true point guard. And compared to Fred, who's really a shooting guard in a point guard's body, that's gonna be the weird difference this year. Is that Schroeder's gonna be like in some ways a big improvement from Van Vliet. And I'm not trying to diss him or disrespect him, but he's a true point guard kind of thing. And in some ways, his leadership and what he does on the court is going to be very welcome to the Raptors this year.
No, I
So,
totally agree. And you said something about like the not wasting motion. I noticed that. Like, could you expand on that a little bit?
well, it's just different things. Like there was a play in the first game against Canada and Germany last week where he had Dwight Powell on his back, and he felt him lay off of him, and he was kind of posting up on him. He had his back to him, and he's on the baseline. He felt Dwight kind of leave away from him, and he turned and he just burst past him on the
Yeah,
baseline and made a quick layup. It's really
yeah,
just
yeah,
like being aware and in charge, and kind of like that's how he's setting tempo and pace for the game, is like really watching spacing and seeing where his guys are going. You see the crazy passes he's throwing over to Franz all of a sudden for threes. He tried to do a pass today, which was ridiculous. He would try to go in the lane, and he twisted and turned, and he threw the ball over his shoulders in the air, an alley oop to Daniel Tice, which
wow.
they didn't connect. But if he had done it, it would have looked so crazy. Let's just put it
Yeah.
that way, because he was like up in the air and he threw it over his shoulder, no look, and he was trying to do an alley oop, which was absolutely nuts. So
So,
I'm
do you
excited
think?
about Shooter.
Yeah, I mean, me too. So, do you think we could get that, like, a little bit, like, and do you think our coach right now, Darko, do you think he's watching what Germany's doing and taking something from that? Like, especially what you said with the not wasting motion, like that continuous harmony. Like, are they is Darko watching them closely?
I'm sure he is. I mean, we got to remember the relationship between Darko and Dennis goes way back to Oklahoma City, and they're
Wow.
familiar with each other. Like, Nick and Fred had a connection. Well, Darko and Dennis already had that connection before coming in the season. This is part of the reason why when Fred took the bag and went to the Rockets, the Darko probably asked Masai and Bobby, it's like, this is the list of who's available. He said, get Schroeder right now,
Okay.
because
Okay.
I work with him in OKC and we know each other. And,
Mhm.
and Dennis has been saying that on his YouTube channel for a couple of weeks, that, yeah, I know the coach really well. And then Darko met him at the airport, at the hotel, when he came in on that open gym. You saw that. And I'm telling you, there's already a personal shorthand connection and working relationship between our coach and Dennis. So
Yeah.
it's they already
Mm.
know each
Um,
other. I think they may even be able to say, "Oh, you remember that time in Oklahoma City when this happened?" And who knows, that kind of stuff. So
yeah. And I'm gonna be honest. I mean, by default, I've always been a Raptor fan since Damian Stoudemire. But I mean, like, this is one of the first years where I've been really excited because I have no clue what I'm gonna see. Is you know what I mean? And it's interesting. I'm like, especially with the pick, getting Grady Dick. We know he wasn't supposed to be there at the 13th pick. And the fact that we got him there at that pick and everything else, like you said, with Schroeder, and I'm really excited to see what
It's
happens.
it's weird because we're 50% last year, 41 and 41, and it can really
Mm.
go either way. And like a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah,
people are already just saying, "Oh, they're going to suck next year. Oh, they're going to suck." And a lot of those people are going to look at everything like the additions and subtractions on the piece of paper in their Sports Illustrated or Sporting News, and they're going to look at all the teams and say, "Oh, this is who left, Fred and Nick. Oh my gosh, the Raptors are going to suck." They're just going to look at
right.
that, and
Mhm.
they're going to immediately make all their choices and decisions on figuring out what we're going to do just from that. And it's not going to be fair. Watch.
Yeah, especially with Barnes, this what's his third year, which they say that third year. And I do believe it. This is the year where we should see what Barnes is gonna, turn out to be, and that with everything else, no, I think we're better than we were last year, and to be honest. So yeah.
I'm excited. Like I think I have a lot of faith in Darko. I have. I mean, if you've seen some of the open gym clips in the last week, they're like playing. They're getting the driving range, hitting the golf balls. They're playing rock paper scissors. I mean, they're doing some
Okay.
bizarre stuff around the team right now, and this is weird kind of team building kind of stuff. And like I don't know. There's something about Darko that's totally different than Nick Nurse that's gonna make things this year like have a. I really have a. I really do think that the Memphis Grizzlies vibes last year, partly the way they were with Dylan Brooks in the hallway and stuff, it has a little bit to do with Darko and his swag, as he puts it. So
Yeah,
we're going to see this on the team, and then getting Garrett Temple is a weird move that a lot of people are kind of like, why? Why would you do this? You already have Thad and stuff like that. But apparently, this guy is like, I know Bradley Beal called him the best NBA teammate he ever had in his entire career in the NBA. So there's something
yeah.
special about him. So he's
And he's
basically
a
like,
lunch pail. He's a lunch pail guy. Like
yeah,
he'll come in every day and do the work. That's what I know for sure about
he'll
him.
he'll be a good example. And
Yeah.
I feel like if they were worried about the vibes, it totally screwed up our team last year. If they really want to have insurance on that, then well, get the presence of Garrett Temple, and that I in some ways I can't argue with that. Sometimes these end of roster spots are they're not going to be anything worth anything anyway. So why not use a guy who will actually have some sort of effect on the team, even if he doesn't play? So
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I totally agree. So I don't know how much time you got, but like the one of the topics we have today is the Hall of Fame induction. Could we get your take on that quick? I want to ask you a couple of things on that.
sure,
All
sure.
right. Well, okay. So the first thing, could you give me your favorites from least to your top on the list?
For the entrance this year.
Yeah,
Oh, that
for
you
the
got on the
four
screen
players.
right now. All right, my favorite
Yeah.
players of all time out of those four, I got Tony Parker number one because I'm a big Spurs fan, and I do respect his resume like a lot of people don't as far as what he's won and everything. I'm really big on Dwayne Wade right now. Also, like he's probably number two, just because like that speech was beautiful between him and a senior. And you know what, Dwayne Wade is just a really classy, awesome guy. I never really like was a big fan of his because I'm not a big Miami Heat fan, but I really respect Dwayne. And you know what? Miami is everything. Pat Riley's right. He is the Miami legend, and he should be forever. I'll give Dirk number three and Powell number four. It's not that I don't respect those guys. I just really like the Spurs and Tony Parker. And right now, I'm like really in awe of Dwayne Wade for just the class and grace he handles himself moving into ownership now with Utah and the Chicago Sky. And also his outspoken comments about the politics of Florida right now is really important. And so I can't go wrong with him. But Parker is my guy just because of Spurs Nation. That's all.
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure. You know, well, and for me, I always say like Nowitzki is one of my favorite guys to watch. Like, just I love to watch a guy like at 7 footer and the footwork too. He has really good footwork. Yeah, a lot of things that I like about Nowitzki, but I give it to Nowitzki only because of favoritism. Then I'd go with Dwayne Wade, Tony Parker, and Paul Gasol. But everything you said, I agree with. I think Tony Parker also doesn't get the recognition that he should. There was actually debate whether Tony Parker was going to make the Hall of Fame, and I'm sorry I didn't get the names that were saying that Tony Parker may not be a Hall of Fame. But did you ever question whether Tony Parker would be a Hall of Famer?
No, I mean because you've got to look at the track record of like dynasties. You look at the Lakers dynasty, you look at the Celtic stuff they've done, you look at the Bulls. The important players that were getting all-stars and were important leaders are all in the Hall of Fame.
I
And
agree.
it's would be unfair to exclude an MVP of the finals for one of those championships with the Spurs from that list. And the fact that he has the amount of rings he has is very important also.
Yeah,
That that is something that matters. Now, one of the recent arguments that I'm really mystified by, and it's kind of pissing me off, is my guy DeRozan. People are questioning whether he's Hall of Fame worthy right now. And listen, this is the thing: if you get to a certain point with your scoring and longevity, and you're above like 30,000 points in the league or 25,000 points in the league, you deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. I'm sorry. Every
I
single
agree.
person in the top 40 has made the Hall of Fame. And if DeMar DeRozan's up there, he needs to be in there just like everybody else. And
I
you can
agree.
slide him for his playoffs and his failures with the Raptors in the playoffs against LeBron. You can slide him for whatever, but the guy's stuck around. He's been consistent, and he has been. That's a Hall of Fame career. That's what it is right there.
Yeah,
So
and a lot of times we're gonna have to fight for that because remember, a lot of players playing in Toronto don't get the coverage, and I notice players in America are fans in America. I wouldn't say the players. I think the players know. The
yeah,
players know what the deal is, but it's the fans. They haven't seen most of DeRozan's career. We've seen what DeRozan did night in, night out,
yeah.
and yeah,
Well, it's evidence with
mhm,
Spurs Nation and Bulls Nation. They both fell in love with him, like absolutely in love
definitely,
with him when they played for their teams. Chicago really does love DeMar right now. So that
definitely,
speaks a lot to itself. And then the legacy of him and his ties to Kobe Bryant, the Drew League history. This is all important stuff. He's
yeah,
not he's not a normal NBA pro. And you're
yeah.
exactly right. There's a Canada discount. You get attached to the Raptors in any kind of way. Sometimes people in the States are going to automatically like put an exchange rate on you, just like it's a loony or a toonie.
No, exactly, exactly. They want to decide what you should be worth, just like you said with the trade, what we should want to take, and well, you know what I mean. That's not how it works.
No. Nope.
Yeah.
And that's
So
why Raptor fans should be like really impressed with Masai and Bobby because they're fighting that kind of perception and that kind of stuff. And they're just tough. And they're like, yeah, you can be called stingy and stuff, but at least they're not getting robbed. That's the thing that Raptor fans need to realize. Masai and Bobby are doing a good job. They said we need a center. What did they do? They got Jakob finally, and we got a
yeah,
center. We need shooting. They draft Grady Dick. We need better chemistry around our team. They hired Darko. They're making the adjustments. It's the maddening thing when you root for a team like the Knicks or something, and they just do spinning their wheels and they're not doing anything productive to try and fix anything. And that's the
yeah,
difference that
no,
Raptor fans need to understand. Y'all can be toxic and talk trash about our front office, but the alternatives could be way, way worse. And that's what I want y'all to know.
yeah, and it gets frustrating with a lot of Toronto fans because you know I got to be honest. It seems like a lot of the fans here they go off of what's being said in the social media, and a lot of it's not realistic, And we got to stick to realism, and that's what I respect about your channel. I've listened to you a lot of times in the morning while I'm at work, and you keep it like real. It's not spookism. It's not fairy tales. This is real business. This is real basketball, and yeah, that's what I could appreciate, especially on your channel. Yeah,
Some people think I'm a little too pie in the sky, a little too optimistic, too glass as half full. But I just feel like there needs to be a counterbalance for the toxic, overly negative Raptor fans that call themselves fans, but they come and tear down our players. They come and tear down our front office. And it's just not fair. So that's the whole reason why I do this. But I appreciate you saying that I keep it real because honestly, some people say that I'm delusional. But I'm just like, look, I want to root for my team in a positive way because I love them. And I just feel like I wish more of Raptors Nation would be the same way as me. That's all. So I just try to be a
yeah,
leader in that way. So
yeah. And look. I haven't heard an outrageous take from you. That's why I say keeping it real. I hear some outrageous, and when people get bored and the views go down, they get outrageous. And before, I don't know how much time, but I know you probably got to go, but you did have an opinion about a lot of these fake takes. Like, do you think this year is one of the biggest years for fake trade scenarios and things like that?
yeah, I think that it's only got worse, and I don't think it's going to get any better. There's real problems. Like one of them is Twitter. Just what happened in the last year with Twitter and Elon buying it has really had a bad effect on truthfulness and kind of like the spread of just BS all over the place. And I think that's a huge part of it. I think that it's also really weird that like the players are interacting with people on Twitter a lot now these days. That makes things very interesting. But yeah, social media is a Wild West frontier that is not totally been figured out, and there's some weird pitfalls that people can fall into. Whether it was what was it, Myers Leonard saying some things on a stream one day, or just different things. It's a different world at this point. Kevin Durant will engage with you on Twitter. If
For
you
real.
get his attention in the right way. And I was hanging out with Scotty on Twitch all last summer, and that was surreal and weird. So I don't know. I think it's just like there's a lot of untruthfulness in journalism and
You,
also just in social media and
you
stuff
see,
like that at this point. So
you see, Lex. You see, that's the thing about you, right? You said, you're hanging out with Scotty. Most people would be like, "Hey, man, that's cool," but you're like, "Hey, man, this guy could be working on his jump shot right now. What you doing hanging out with me?" You see, that's why I say you're a real guy, man. You're a real one, man.
I'm glad he's off Twitch this summer. Seriously, Sky, we
yeah,
missed you and we had so much fun hanging out with you and asking you questions. But I'm glad you're in the
yeah.
gym with Brian Macon. I'll just say that right now. Thank you, Scotty. I know you're going to come back and you're going to kick so much butt and you're going
Yeah,
to be.
no, for sure, for sure. We're waiting, and like I said, I am like I'm because you think they'll put Scotty at the one this year? You think they're good? That's what their intention.
I like to say this to Raptor fans all the time, especially since they came up with this Vision 6-9. Let's throw out this whole idea of positions. Let's just throw out this whole idea of this is the starting point guard because it just involves an unnecessary chatter and some people's feelings get hurt and all this stupid stuff. So why not we
Mhm.
just like let the players play? And if Dennis
Okay.
looks like a point guard on one play, that's fine. If Scotty's the point guard on one play, that's already kind of how Nick was playing our team. We'll see if Darko carries over with that. But, there's a lot of people getting hung up on labels and positions and stuff. And I don't want to even get into that at this point. I just want them to play and win. If they play good team basketball, I don't care who's doing each role because honestly, half of our team can do everything. And it's
I
like,
agree.
it's really like up to Darko to really figure out what's the best winning formula to make it add up to the W's every night for the Raptors. So, yeah.
I agree, and I'm on board. I'm on board, man. Like I said, I'm a Raptor fan by default, but I actually do like what's going on. So hey, I'm with it.
It's different. It's different. In some ways, it was getting a little stale with like Nick was definitely not being as innovative in the last year as he had been in years before. And I can get why people were getting a little done with Fred just because of like the outcomes and kind of like I said, I feel like he's hitting his limitations in some ways. It's going to be a real microscope for him in Houston with that paycheck. And it could be real weird for him real quick because everybody's going to be saying, wow, you're getting paid that much and this is what you're doing. If it's anything like what he was doing for us last year, they're going to be saying he's overpaid is probably what they're going to say. So
The good thing, I think he still does have a 20 points a game in him. I think he still has that couple years and some good leadership. I think they pay more for the leadership
yeah,
than the production. And I think they'll be okay with that. And I think that came down from Larry because Larry passed down
yeah.
a lot of
Oh, yeah.
good leadership uh,
Don't get me wrong.
examples.
I wish Fred
Mhm.
well, and I want him to be happy and healthy and his family, everything good and stuff like that. But I'm just going by, like you said, like I'm gonna look at this and be like, all right, Fred's kind of been hitting his ceiling the last couple years with an all-star year. This is an undrafted guy that made it up through the G League. It's not the same as like Siakam coming in, or Anunoby. This guy really kind of went way far and above and beyond already. And to
Mhm.
feel like
You,
a guy at his height can sustain this for like
you,
into his 30s, it's not.
the interesting thing about Houston, and I agree with you, but the interesting thing is that remember they drafted Amin. Amin
Yeah,
is
yeah,
really
he's a
supposed to
point
be
guard.
the guy. Yeah. So and then they still got is it Kevin Porter, KPJ, or yeah, Kevin Porter Jr.
I believe
So
so.
yeah, so they got pieces around him to where he doesn't have to like overdo it. Because that's interesting. When you think about it, you have 2 point guards already. They got Amin. That's probably who their future is.
Yeah.
So that's what I say. I think it's really the leadership. That's a lot of money for leadership, but
I mean,
uh,
they're a weird team all around. Like we were saying on my live stream earlier, I mean, Dylan Brooks and Fred VanVleet are two of the most inefficient shooters in the league from last year. And Houston already had like a couple guys on their team that were really inefficient also. So they've got like four really inefficient kind of shooters on their team. You know,
and,
I
okay.
love
So
Fred and Dylan
what?
a lot,
Mhm.
but these guys are not like high percentage shooters. We know this.
And you see, and that's you see when we talk about like efficiency, I agree that's something that should be taken into consideration, but also fit. Like if guys fit together, right? A lot of times those if inefficiencies do
Mhm.
change, you know. So I can't lie. I guess you could tell I'm optimistic about Houston. So I think they'll be okay. I think they'll be okay, but it could go the other way. It is a project at the end of the day. So it'll
We'll have
be
to see.
interesting to.
I don't want to wish them any ill will or anything like that, but you know,
Mm.
it's going to be a weird situation. Like, I think there's such a weird mix of personalities and people that are there all of a sudden. And that team last
Well,
year
okay.
was so
Well,
young.
you know about Jabari Smith. He's a
Yeah.
young guy.
He looks good.
Yeah, they got Sengun.
Yeah, Sangoon's very good, and Jalen
Yeah,
Green, of course.
yeah. Jalen
So
Green, Jay Sean Tate.
yeah, they've got a lot of really good young guys. They even got
Yeah, they
what
got.
Cam Whitmore this year. They got
Yeah,
Cam
even
Whitmore.
yeah, they got the steal.
They're stacked. Like they're
Yeah,
almost
you
like
see
the
when you think
Thunder as
about
far
it.
as like with young
Yeah,
talent. They're stacked.
yeah. So it might not work, maybe not even this year, but they got the talent to as they move forward. You know, they could do what they want with it. They got trade. You
Yeah.
know, they could trade guys. They could, you know, they could turn that around and make it something.
It'll be
Even if
interesting.
that's
It'll
not
be
the
interesting.
squad,
I
you know.
worry about those
Mhm.
crowded young teams though, like Oklahoma City. It's like you know, I don't know. Anyway, I'll go on and on about it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. But hey, you know what? For I want to let you know we're like a new channel, man, and you know we really appreciate you coming on the channel. You didn't have to,
Hey man,
and
I told you I
you
would,
know,
and I'm sorry I was late. You know what had happened? I was eating dinner, and then I was like, "Oh crap, it's after 6. I better go see if Quick Takes is on."
hey, that
Yeah,
happens to us, man. Sometimes we'll be eating dinner, and we're like, oh shoot, we need to be on, you know. So we trust me, we
nice,
understand, man.
right
Yeah.
on.
So hopefully we could do this again. You know, like I
For
said,
sure,
we're a
man. I
growing
enjoyed it.
channel. Yeah. So thanks again, and we're actually gonna end it here. So
Respect,
uh, yeah, man, respect. But we'll be checking you out. We'll be in your comment section
for
and
sure,
checking out what you're doing over there
for
on
sure.
Raptor Freak, right?
That's right. Raptorsfreak on YouTube. You guys just
Rap.
check it out every morning, 9:30, live streaming, talking NBA and Raptors stuff. And thank you, Quick Takes, for having me on. And I'll definitely be plugging y'all tomorrow for this appearance and stuff like that. And I'll even I'll tell everybody that I appeared, and they'll probably come and watch the replay. So
Hey,
thank
thanks a
you
lot,
so
man.
much.
We appreciate it, man.
Yeah, no problem. Let's help each other. That's what I'm all about, man.
Hey, I love it, man. So we'll catch you.
All right, thanks again. Quick Takes, and I see that I don't know your name there, man, but respect to you guys, and go Raptors. That's what I gotta say.
Definitely go Raptors, man. All by default every year, regardless. Yeah. All right, man.
Yo.
Yo, show's still running?